Hey, richardroy2, man. Been a while, and I miss chatting with you, dude. Um, because really, that's what I think. My part in YouTube. This is the part about YouTube that I really like. It's the reason why I have a channel. It's honest interaction and conversations as opposed to debates or drama or he said this or she said that, or just people trying to entertain and educate who put a lot of work and effort into their content. Not that I don't put work and effort into mine. It's just that what effort I put in there, I do for my own sake. People complaining that my videos are too long. Really, honestly, uh, I've really only gotten that criticism about like 2 times over the past 4 years, and to be fair, the videos that they said that on were like an hour long. Anywhere between 45 minutes and an hour long. So it's valid. But at the same time, like, if anybody's sub to me and they know me, like, I could give a fuck less. And if someone's watching my content, it's because they're interested in it. And that's kind of where it goes. Because there are some people who do complain about, like, oh, I think you should talk about this, or I think you took too long. It's kind of one of those things to where you gotta wonder why they're sub to you to begin with. Especially channels like ours, where a high subscriber count is not really the primary interest. And so, when it comes down to people being like, I think you should do this, although it's constructive criticism and there's a value to be found in that, it's also like, it kind of seems that person, whoever it is, doesn't really, they subbed not knowing what the channel is about. Um, the last video I made, Geek Week, about Geek Week, somebody thumbs it down, gave it the red thumb, and subsequently, I guess they unsubbed. And it leaves to reason, like, or it leaves a question, like, why they subbed to begin with. What was it about the vastly stimulating things that I talk about? Not not that I don't talk about things that are interesting. They're just things that are interesting solely to me. And if somebody else is not cool with that, then that's their interest. That's what they're into. Everybody geeks. Everybody is a geek one way or another. There's somebody out there who can tell you what the longest down yard pass in American football is. There's somebody out there who can tell you what the greatest land speed record in a triathlon is. There are people who can tell you that, and if that's not geeky, if that's not taking an interest to a geeky level, I don't fucking know what is, really. And so if somebody unsubscribes to me, or somebody out there doesn't like particularly what you're doing, there's other channels. They're free to them. Like, and so yeah, like when it comes to people complaining about, like, I think you should do this, it's just kind of like, constructive criticism, it's good, it's got its place, but also at the same time, it kind of gets to one of those things where it's just like, why are you, why is this the level of interaction that you choose? Like, I don't get it sometimes, and it's true that YouTube is kind of a new media and the world is growing, so people get used to that, and some people are still in this state of amazement of, holy shit, videos on the internet, videos on online. YouTube is a great place for people who want to produce, X amount of content, and they're still in that point where they're just like enthralled with how new it is. When they see something disappointing and they see something that disappoints them, they get down to like criticizing the content provider like they would write an angry letter or write a critical letter to the writers and producers of their favorite show. And it's just like, when it comes down to like, I think that what you should do, you should really focus more on this, and it's just like, I am open to suggestion, but I'm not I am not on a network television show. I'm just a fucking YouTuber. I vlog and I sit down and I hit record on a camera and I publish it. I edit those. I like editing, but I edit them for my own sake. I'm fascinated with the TV thing. Um but and that's just me exploring ways things could be done. Like, and I'll edit to chop out long pauses or or ands, like unnecessary things that really are best to be edited, in my opinion. I'm not going to be editing this one. No, this is going to be out in the open. This is going to be one of the older style Kevin videos. When I couldn't edit, like videos like this. And um, it's kind of one of those things. I have written here the things, because I tried making this video before and it ended up being like so long, and I don't think I even talked about things that you talked about. And that's the thing, is like when you're having a conversation with a person, you can interact and there's a rhythm and there's a pace and you can address things as they come along. But on YouTube, I've got a 10-minute video that talks about several different things, and like I don't want to forget about what those things were. So yeah. And I don't like the idea of like taking things bullet point by bullet point by bullet point, because this isn't a debate as are so popular on YouTube. Like, and there's actually graphic effects with bullet points. And here's what I'm talking about. And it's one of those things where I'm just talking with richardroy2. I'm talking with you, dude, and it's kind of it's weird. It's weird because there's that part of me that doesn't want it to be like some PowerPoint bullet point presentation, but also things are like that on this forum for a specific reason. It's a certain medium, because like I say, you talked about a couple things in your video that I don't want to forget. And so yeah, this wasn't on here, by the way. my meandering. But when it comes down to people expressing things and their perspective on things, they're sharing their outlook on life. And everybody's got their own outlook. Everybody's got their own opinions. They've got their own interpretations of reality. And yeah, I really do think that that's the cool thing about YouTube. There's so much to it. Like, the most interesting person I've ever met in my life, I met on YouTube, and they ended up giving me some really good advice, options for open source programming, just really genuinely interesting, unique, wholly unique, and impressive people. Those are the people I've got to meet, and you're one of them, Richard. Like, who takes care of raccoons in their attic? Like, that's a unique thing. It's not anything that anybody's going to do, and that's because of the fact that a lot of people like have certain expectations about how that will go, and it's not that it's unfounded. As you said, like, the mom raccoon reacted in the exact way that you would expect her to. But you did it anyway. And that's kind of where it comes down to, what did you want to do? What did you want to learn from that interaction? Other people might have considered it stupid or foolish, but at the same time, like, you went out and you did that for the experience on your own. Like, you went and investigated. It's kind of those things where sometimes you don't have to go by what other people tell you is weird or bad or negative. Sometimes you get to experience and experiment with that type of stuff. And this is very much in the heart. When you asked me, when you said that you didn't know if you were quite getting the whole fucking up on purpose thing, you hit the nail right on the head, and you pretty much gave a perfect analogy for that. Like, just doing things to know. For instance, when I was at work, I was taking this lady's order, and she had on a beautiful jade dress with matching jade earrings and a jade necklace. So she was going through great lengths to make an impression upon somebody, if not everybody. But also, she wore this very revealing V-neck, and her cleavage was just like right there, and the necklace had a little centerpiece that went straight down. So obviously, here's the thing. In my mind, nobody takes that kind of, like, goes through that kind of effort to look like that with it not being deliberate, with not every single article, every single detail of the ensemble from the shoes up. Everything is intentional. Much like every brushstroke is intentional on a painting. So I looked at her, and I said to her, I looked her square in the eye, I said, and yeah, I wish her a good day. Oh, thank you for coming here. Here's your change. And might I add that your breasts look particularly attractive today. And she just turned around and smiled. She's like, thank you. And that's the thing. Is like I wasn't staring. I wasn't goggling. Or I wasn't ogling her breasts. But there was a certain emphasis that she had to direct attention to her breasts. And case in point, I kind of glanced at her breasts, and I looked up and I noticed her noticing her breasts, or I noticed her noticing me noticing her breast, and she just kind of looked at me and smiled. So she was obviously a very confident person, and so like that's why I said, like, my thinking is, if I'm gonna get busted checking out somebody's cleavage, you know, they clearly noticed that I'm noticing, then it's already kind of awkward. And so my thinking is, might as well shoot for 9, you know, run the whole 9 yards. I've already been caught checking this chick out, so I told her, like, I wasn't hitting on her. Like, it wasn't gonna happen. I was not hitting on her, but I was paying her due compliment for the situation. This was like, might I add that your breasts look particularly attractive today. It just smiles and says thank you. I turn around, and 2 of my coworkers are just like, only you. And this is one of my one of my favorite quotes in life. My friend looks over and he's just like, only you can get away with saying shit like that, Kevin. You have like a fucking superpower. This is your superpower. You can say shit like that and get away with it, not be slapped. And I guess, I don't know, superpower would be appropriate, but I still think it's funny. When it comes down to, like, I don't even know where I'm going with this now. No, it's just, it's kind of one of those things, dude. Like, I don't know, like the whole human experience. Like, you have people who will complain about the content you're providing on YouTube. You will. But, like I say, those people, why the heck are they even here to begin with? And I think I already talked about that. And so, that's where this is somewhat important. I don't know, like I've got scripts underlined here. Like, I've never scripted a video ever. There are my poetry videos, which are kind of scripts, I guess, if you want to consider a poem a script. And there are videos that I've done where I've read excerpts from stuff I've done on Facebook, but past that, it's all just this. It's all just human interaction, It's all just social media, as far as I'm concerned. And that's the thing. Then YouTube is social media, and it's also entertainment media. Sometimes it's both, but that's what we get, and we're all just exploring this medium, we're exploring this form, we're exploring life. And that's what it comes down to, fucking up on purpose. That's what it comes down to, is just to explore things. Because you do have people who are like, well, there's nothing new under the sun. Everything's been done before. And it's just like, yeah, probably, but for your interest, you're the one who does this, and you've never done this before. You've never experienced this. And all those people who have experienced before you, they've kept record, they've kept track of that. Like these videos, these exchanges, there's a good small number of them that are going to be in the future in 100 years time, provided that the YouTube can keep its servers up, but these videos are a documentation of how we are, who we are. It's never happened before in history. And I don't know, I think some of us are still getting used to that. I think some of us are producing the content that they produce with that in mind. And I don't really have either as a focus. I'm aware that that's maybe the case, but I don't produce my content for that reason. Yeah, like if I have anything to say to somebody in 100 years times, it's gonna be hi. I hope you like the videos. Sorry for being so boring. Like, that's how it goes. And when it comes down to the whole criticisms thing, like, and editing, making the videos shorter, I do that because I've watched my own videos and annoyed myself. That's what it boils down to, is I'm my own worst critic, and if I see something that I would recommend to a content provider, hey, you could do this better, I'll do that on my fucking channel, but I don't really listen a whole lot to other people's criticisms about my channel, because it comes down when it was like, you don't like it, don't watch. And life is very much the same way. We only get to experience, we only get to participate in what we choose to participate in. And if something seems stupid, or if something is stupid, demonstrably stupid, if something's going to have bad results and you know it, but it still sounds like a really fun thing to do, and only, the only person who will bear any burden and penalty, be it physical or emotionally or monetarily, is you, and you still think it's going to be fun, why not fucking do it? Yeah, sure, it's going to be, like, it's stupid, and you're going to be at a loss in the long run, but it's still kind of one of those, like, but it still sounds really fun. Doing things just for the sake of experiencing them, that's what this is. That's what I think life is all about. I can't say what life is about, but if there's a purpose at all, if there's a purpose to be had, I think that life is kind of its own purpose. Like, I don't understand the notion that people have about there being an end game, there being a goal, there being some great ends to, what is being portrayed here. Like, the notion of there being a meaning to life, like, I can't even define that question. Like, what do you mean? But I think at the heart of the question, the answer would be life is its own. It's its own point. But that's the thing, I don't even understand the question. Like, somebody asks, if somebody were to ask, like, point blank, what is the meaning of life? Just that. I would tell them that they're being fucking vague. Like, it's a vague question. What do you mean by that? Like, what is the purpose? Yeah, the mechanism that all life is performing. Like, what is the purpose in something, in the universe even existing? And it's just like, how did you even become under the impression that it required one? Like, there's a whole basis of criteria that you have to address before even asking that question. That's why, you have things like 42, Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And he says in that book, like, the question itself is kind of not very well thought out, so you're going to get a very not well thought out answer. And that's just kind of how it goes, man. But I'm just kind of droning on now, but video raccoons. If you've got a video of Mama Raccoon, do it. Do the editing and get that video out there, man. Anyway, as nebulous as this conversation is, it was good talking to you, man. I missed this. I really do. Interacting is what it's all about. At least on this channel. So, anyway, yeah, bye. Perhaps I should hit stop.